It sucks very much when you get injured or when you have to have a surgery. That's the reality of our sport. It sometimes happens. So in today's video we're going to talk about what you should do when that happens, when you need to get a surgery, how to go about it, and what are the best strategies to overcome your injury after surgery, and how to quickly return to training. Coming up. If you want to master MMA fundamentals, check out my instructional called MMA Essential Lessons. In it you can learn about clinch takedowns, boxing, grappling, Muay Thai, ground and pound, Thai and puppet master clinch, escapes from inferior positions, and shooting takedowns. Check out the link in the description below. Hi, my name is Mark Leitner from MMAcoach.net, where we teach coaches, fighters and enthusiasts how to train smart and not just hard. And today I'm going to get an elbow surgery in the building, the white building over there. And join me and see how the process looks like. Dobar dan. Snimam nešto, problem? Kažem, snimam nešto, problem? Okay, I'm in and now I have to check in the hospital. So I'm in the room finally, and my surgery will be late. I was hoping I was going to get a surgery tomorrow, but there are a lot of emergency patients that have to go before me, so I will have to get a surgery the day after tomorrow, or maybe even later. I don't know. They have to let us know, and in the meantime, I'm stuck here. So why am I here in the hospital? Well, I already told you I'm going to get a surgery on my right elbow, and I did this surgery before 7 years ago. They removed pieces of bone, they call it bone spurs or osteophytes, from my elbow, which were causing me trouble, and my elbow tended to swell up after training, and it really became a nuisance back then. When I got that surgery done 7 years ago, I was very relieved. I didn't get the full range of motion back, which was also a problem, but I was able to train without my elbow swelling up. And now it started swelling up again after training. It's giving me trouble. Again, I'm training with one hand most of the time, so I'm trying to solve this problem. The bad news is, or perhaps the bad news is, that my surgeon told me that he cannot guarantee success because my elbow is pretty messed up, and he can try his best to remove bone spurs and shave off some parts of the elbow that are affected, but he cannot guarantee anything. So yeah, I'm trying, and maybe I'll get a few more years for sparring and for practicing MMA. It's a hard sport, and I've been doing this for a long time, and martial arts in general, so you get injuries along the way. And by the way, just so you know, I'm doing this video with my smartphone only. I didn't bring any mics, I didn't bring my camera gear, I didn't want to lug it into the hospital, so I apologize if the video quality and the sound quality is not as usual. The first thing you will need is to check whether you really need a surgery or not. Do everything in your power in order to avoid surgery, but if it's unavoidable, if that's the only way you will ever be able to train again and compete again in your sport, or in this case MMA, then, or practice, like in my case, I don't want to compete anymore, or I just want to train, so then you really have to take the surgery. Some fighters do the opposite thing, and they try to train without surgery, even if that will only make their injury worse. And I've known a few cases of that. This is not smart. It's only going to get worse, the injury, and you really need to take the surgery. Okay, it's my second day in the hospital, and they just moved me to another room. So I wanted to talk about the second thing that you need to pay attention to, and that's that you need to accept that you're injured. What does that mean? That mostly means that you shouldn't wallow in self-pity. thinking, oh, it's such a shame that I'm injured. I could have been training right now. If I wasn't injured, I could have been competing and stuff like this. Stop it. Just stop it. This will lead you nowhere. Just accept that you're injured and that you have to spend some time, in rehab and first of all in surgery. MMA, like most sports, is a long haul game. So every fighter will go through this at some point, will get injured, and it will probably require surgery if they're really doing this professionally. And ask yourself, is it in your power to change what has happened? If not, why stress about it? Just accept the things as they are and let the recovery take its course. So I just got back from the operating room, and I'm still feeling the effects of the narcosis or the anesthesia. So yeah, as you can see, I'm hooked up to the IV, and still cannot get up. I will get up soon and go home, or I think so. And I wanted to talk about the third thing, which is to be serious about your rehab. What does that mean? Surgery is just one half of the recovery process. Another half is good rehab, good physical therapy. And you should be really disciplined about this. Go to physical therapy every day except maybe Sundays when they don't work. And on Sundays you can maybe do it alone if possible. And just like in training, it's very similar to training. You should be gradually exposed to exercising. And it will also, just like in training, it will consist of strengthening and stretching exercises. Whatever you had surgery on, you need to get back your range of motion, and it will take time, and you should do it gradually. And I might do a separate video on this subject. It's been a couple of days after surgery and I'm back in the gym. And the next thing I wanted to talk about was that you should train what you can immediately. There's a lot of what you can train, and as soon as you are able to, you should do it. In my case, that might be running, squats, crunches, back extensions and exercises like that. But I can even use my hand. My surgeon told me on the second day after my surgery, he told me to use my hand and try pull-ups and push-ups, and I thought he was crazy, but he was dead serious, and I did try it, and it didn't hurt too much, and I can do it. I will not do them too much, but I'm just testing out my hand, and it seems to be working fine. So don't skip training just because you're injured. Every training counts, so don't get lazy. And this way you're still conditioning yourself to maintain your training habits. Number 5 is to watch your training sessions and fights. Just because you're injured, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go and watch your training sessions. Don't just disappear from your academy and your teammates just because it might be hard for you to watch the training sessions because you cannot do it yourself. Stay mentally present and watch the training sessions. You can time them, you can time the sparrings and rounds, and you can give feedback to your teammates or help them in any way you can. That way you will fuel your desire for training, and the techniques will stay fresh in your mind, even if you don't practice them. And that will make the eventual return to trainings much easier. And number 6 is that you shouldn't rush to get back into training. Make sure that you're properly rehabilitated before you return to training fully. Many MMA champions use ground and pound as their go-to strategy. If you want to learn how to do it properly, check out my Total Ground and Pound Blueprint instructional. The link is in the description. What else do you think a fighter should do after surgery? Are there any other tips? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, like it and share it, and you can also subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like a more in-depth MMA training, check out my instructionals. My name is Mark Leitner from MMAcoach.net, and I will see you again very soon.